All right, so your GCP Professional Data Engineer certification is about to expire, and you're prepping for the renewal exam. You're in exactly the right place. Let's cut right to the chase. We're going to focus only on what you need to know to pass. No fluff, no wasted time.
So here's our game plan. First, we need to get into the new philosophy of the exam. What's really changed? Then we'll dive deep into the key technical areas you absolutely have to master. The modern governance fabric, new ways of working with BigQuery, the whole AI and security angle, and finally, we'll wrap it all up with a concrete strategy.
Okay, let's get one thing crystal clear. This is not the same test you took the first time around. The renewal exam just assumes you already know the basics. It's not about what a service does. It's all about how you architect with them to build modern, efficient, and cost-effective solutions.
And you can see that right here. Yeah, it's shorter, half the questions, half the time. But don't let that fool you. It's way more dense. We're moving way past simple recall. The questions are all about that architectural synthesis. Can you design a complex solution that ticks all the boxes? Performance, cost, security. That's the real test.
And if you need proof, look no further. This chart tells the entire story. The ingestion and processing part, it's been slashed from a quarter of the exam all the way down to just 10%. That is a massive signal. They're basically saying, we trust you know data flow on PubSub. Now let's talk about the big picture: design, storage, and data preparation.
All right, let's get into the meat of it. We're going to talk about the new services that form the absolute core of modern data governance on Google Cloud. You can bet you're going to see these three on the exam.
So you've got this new trio: Dataplex, BigLake, and Analytics Hub. These are your go-to tools for building a data mesh or a lakehouse. I like to think of Dataplex as the central librarian that knows where everything is. BigLake, that's your magic wand that lets you query files in cloud storage or even AWS and Azure as if they were just another big query table. And Analytics Hub, well, that's your secure data marketplace for sharing data without making endless costly copies.
Okay, so let's put it into practice. You see a question like this pop up on the exam. And by the way, this is straight from the official sample questions. You've got data scattered everywhere, different owners, it's a mess. You need governance, and you can't break the bank. What's your move?
The answer here is going to be Dataplex, hands down. And why is that? Because it's literally built for this exact problem. It gives you that unified view, that single pane of glass, to discover and manage everything. And here's the kicker: it does it without forcing you into a costly migration project. That's the cost-optimized part they're looking for.
Next up, let's shift gears to BigQuery and ELT. This is a big one. Because the way we used to do things, well, those are probably the trap answers on the exam now. We need to talk about the modern way to handle SQL workflows and performance.
So if you get a question, and it's talking about managing these really complex SQL transformations with tons of steps, your brain should immediately go to Dataform. That's the modern answer. It's all about bringing proper software engineering discipline, Git integration, testing, dependency management, straight into your ELT world. And here's another perfect example of a renewal-style question. See, it's not enough to just know about Dataform. You have to know how to use its features correctly for something as common and as critical as data quality.
The key here is using Dataform's built-in assertions. It's not about some external tool or a separate validation script. No, you build the quality checks right into your SQX files. They run as part of the pipeline. If the data's bad, the job fails. It's integrated, it's efficient, and it's the answer they're looking for.
Oh man, this scenario. You will definitely see something like this because it happens all the time in the real world, right? You've got a BI tool hammering a giant table, running the same slow, expensive aggregations over and over for a dashboard. Your costs are through the roof, and users are complaining. What do you do?
This is the textbook slam dunk use case for materialized views. They were basically invented for this exact situation. You pre-calculate the answers to those common queries, and BigQuery keeps it all fresh for you behind the scenes. So now your dashboard is hitting this tiny pre-aggregated table. The result? Queries are lightning fast, and your bill plummets. It's a huge win.
All right, buckle up. We're about to do a rapid-fire round of some other critical, high-probability topics. These are the kinds of details that can absolutely make or break your exam score. You've got to know them.
Let's run through the list. You need to know about prepping data for Gen AI. Think creating embeddings for RAG architectures. You have to know you can call LLMs directly from BigQuery using mlgenerate_text. When you hear change data capture from a database like Oracle, think data stream. For security, you gotta know what VPC service controls do to prevent data exfiltration. If a question mentions using your own on-prem keys, the answer is Cloud EKM. And for data flow, remember that reshuffle is your secret weapon for fixing weird performance bottlenecks.
Okay, here's a number to burn into your brain. 15 minutes. 15. If you see a question about cloud storage and it talks about a regional failure and needs a 15-minute recovery point objective, the answer is always a dual-region bucket with turbo replication turned on. It's a super specific fact they love to test.
All right, let's pull all of this together into a concrete game plan. Because look, knowing what not to study, what to avoid, is just as important as knowing what to focus on. You have to be super careful here. Everything you see on the left, those are the legacy patterns. On this exam, they are now the trap answers. So think this, not that. Don't share data with simple IAM, use Analytics Hub. Don't manage ELT with manual SQL scripts, use Dataform. Don't move GCS data just to secure it, use BigLake to secure it right where it is. And forget about fixed slot commitments, it's all about BigQuery additions and autoscaling.
So here it is, a 5-day battle plan. This isn't for beginners, it's tailored for an experienced pro like you who just needs to get up to speed on what's new. It's all about bridging that knowledge gap efficiently. Dedicate 1 day to each of these key domains and you'll walk into that exam feeling totally prepared.
At the end of the day, that's what this renewal is all about. It's a test of your fluency in modern cloud data architecture. You've got limited time, so focus it where it counts, on these new patterns we've talked about: governance, modern ELT, and AI integration. Master them, and you will pass with confidence. So the only question left is, where will you begin?